Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
It is February 20th, 2026. And we thank you for getting up early with us to talk about things that we got laid out for you here on this snowy. What is this, a Monday?
It's a Friday. Ooh, you all off.
Hey, man, snow threw me all the way off.
Man.
Let's get it rolling. First Sky Omaha. In the morning. Money. Once again, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us so early on a Friday. This is
There you go.
Friday. Yes, it is. February 20th, 2026. I should have known. I should have waited till I said it because Leia Keister has come in with the Friday Yippee Skippies. Then I would have knew it was Friday right away.
See, they'll tell you. They'll let you know.
I'll let you know, buddy. It's your turn, by the way, because
It is. Okay. me. Happy Friday, yay, yip, yippee, yo, yay, yo, yip, yay, yo, yip.
All right.
How'd I do? Let me know how I did, y'all.
Let them know because I sure didn't follow along.
Yeah. Thanks, Leah, for the mental gymnastics.
Yeah, and happy born day too. I know you just had one.
Hey. Was
Shout
it
out.
Gemini? Is it or Aquarius?
You asking me? No, I don't know nothing about it.
Let us know.
Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. Lakeisha Green in the chat. Good morning. Thanks for coming in this morning. Wanted to thank you for the event the other day. I saw the pictures. Saw you guys was having a good time honoring Brother Curry.
Man,
shout out to Lakeisha Green and the Union for Contemporary Art. And yeah, man, Brother
Curry Gallery and Can Kerr, or is it Curry Corner and Can Kerr Gallery? Is that it?
The other way around. Let me know. You had it right the first time.
Oh, okay. Let me know. Let me try to get it right, man. Rest in peace to the brother.
Rest in peace for real. RG gives us a morning, y'all. Appreciate you getting up. Also, he says 8 inches of snow outside. Yeah, we got to talk about it. We got hit hard, and I don't appreciate it.
Man, out there it was just 80. See, y'all got to earn you got to earn it out there. You got to earn it.
We're going to talk about it. It's thick out there right now even. It's bad news. Bad news bears. He said it'll all be gone next week since we'll be in the 50s Tuesday and Wednesday. I certainly hope so. Hope so. Heather Williams gives us a good morning, everyone. Also, it's the RG says apparently it's officially Pisces season. So yeah.
Okay. See,
I don't know
let me know.
Miss Erica Phil said, "Baby, it's cold outside. It's cold right now." There you go. Lakeisha Green says, "Oh, a time was had." That's what's up. Appreciate that. Union for Contemporary Art. Go check it out. The gallery's open now. Yeah. So just thank you. Appreciate that. Of course, you saw early on that we're going to have a special guest. Today is the day that we have our monthly meetup with the mayor. So Mayor John Ewing is going to join us a little bit later. Highly suggest you stick around for that conversation and get your questions ready. Let's have a little bit of a conversation with the mayor, which is very, very happy that his office is allowing us to be able to do that. All the good work that's happening over there. Speaking of that, man, shout out to Tamara Dwyer, who's I'm watching her a little bit in action when it comes to what's going on with our houseless brothers and sisters, especially when the weather is bad, like it hit yesterday.
Man,
I went to bed wondering myself, what do people do? What's going on with them? So, I kind of dug in a little bit and saw, she's out there, taking care of business and doing what she can do, and we all can do more, instead of just sitting around feeling like, man, I wonder what they're doing out there while the weather's like this. I'm happy I'm in, It's tough. It's tough to not to be paying attention to what she's doing and not have that thought. You can't just deny it. You can't just be like, well, at least I'm warm, because there's folks out there in it in a big way. So,
man.
Once again, if you're in Omaha, you already know what it is. We got hit with a blizzard yesterday, probably about 3-4 o'clock. I looked out the window like, what's going on? Streets was wet when I looked. 2 minutes later, I started hearing trucks. And I was like, I know the trucks ain't scooping the snow this early. It ain't even snowed outside. It's not even snow yet.
Hear the slush and the slosh.
Feet of snow by the time I looked about 5 minutes later. It was a mess. Hot mess. A couple friends, you know me, I'm from California, so all I did was make sure that there was some groceries around and everybody had what they needed and everybody was in the house.
Hey, ain't going
Uh,
nowhere.
but I had a couple friends that got out there with slipping, sliding through intersections and stuff like that. So, luckily they got home in time, but there was some actual big, accidents and things that went down in a big way on the freeway, especially on
Hmm.
I-80. Had a whole bunch of stuff happening.
Man, is that
Wreck,
bad, huh?
wrecks everywhere, bro. This doesn't even look as bad as it looked because it was a blizzard. So it was one of those situations where the snow was blowing sideways and you couldn't even really see. Like this picture is way too clear for how I was actually looking out here, to be honest. But yeah,
Man,
yeah, it was
Miss
bad news.
Erica Felt giving us a little insight. She says, my street isn't clear and there's a feel of like -2 outside, so I'm closed. It's a -9 feel like at 11:30, so I still won't get exits cleared. So I'm closed all day. Thankfully, all families are good. Definitely prayers for families that have to get out in this weather, go to work, or I guess the schools are closed. But if you got to go to the store, you didn't prepare, whatever you got to do
Bad news bears.
out in that, man. Prayers to you. One thing about like when it's hot and cold like that, it's a perfect storm for ice. You know what I mean? Because the concrete is still kind of warm, so the snow comes down and then it melts into that slush, and then later on at night that temperature drops, and then you got a whole icy situation with the slush and the black ice, and yeah, it's a dangerous situation, man. So, man, drive safely out there.
Yeah, man. Like RG said, almost 80 degrees one day, blizzard on blizzard the next.
Hate to say I told y'all, but
Shout out to Kimmer Snipes, who is on the school board. She put this out yesterday. Said so. Right now, it looks calm outside. This was early in the day. People were really questioning whether or not this thing was coming. She says that's exactly why snow day decisions can feel confusing. School cancellations aren't based on what we see at 7 a.m. They're based on transportation looks like what transportation looks like when 50,000 students are trying to get home at the same time. Today's winter storm warning begins around midday, and conditions are expected to worsen during dismal after-school activities and evening routes. By the time roads become unsafe, buses are already out, students are already walking, and families are already committed to pickup plans. The district doesn't make for these calls for convenience. Doesn't make these calls for convenience. They make them to avoid putting kids in situations we can't safely undo once the weather hits. A clear morning can still lead to dangerous afternoon, and the district's responsibility is making sure every student gets home safely, not reaching after travel becomes risky, not reacting after travel becomes risky. I appreciate everyone's patience, especially our families who have to rearrange schedules at the last minute. Safety decisions are never popular, but they are intentional. Definitely got the word, all morning long because it didn't hit really till about 3 o'clock, and
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly when my friend got stuck out there. People were pulling over because they couldn't see. People were sliding through intersections. All kinds of stuff was going down. So it was a good call by the Omaha School District to go ahead and call it off.
Man, apparently it was a situation out here in Atlanta a couple years ago where there was an ice storm that hit, and it was that same situation where it was clear in the morning. The districts wasn't really sure. They let people go to school, and by the time let out comes, it's ice everywhere, and it was so bad to where like there were buses full of kids, sitting on the interstate for hours because it was so icy that people were just getting out of their cars. And it was just pileups and gridlock, and it was just a bad situation. So I really do appreciate Sister Kimmer for kind of giving us a glimpse into the thinking process of some of these decisions. Which I think when we talk about these politics and we speak into these politicians, kind of maybe can tend to underestimate the levity of some of these decisions that they all have to make. Real life situations, real life decisions. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Speaking of these real life decisions, RG is saying these potholes about to be terrible in the spring. We all know that that's a purview of the mayor. So we'll see if the brother mayor is got some plans. We'll talk to him a little bit later on the show. Monthly meetup with the mayor is happening with John Ewing Jr. Mayor John Ewing Jr. Put some respect on his name, and we will absolutely be asking about what the plan is for that because it's going down. What's going down. Before we get to it, man, I didn't even get a chance to ask you how you doing this morning. How's the morning treating you this morning?
Man, I'm a little tired. There you go. I would like to just give a little glimpse. Yesterday, I went to the life celebration. I think is the only way to call it of young DJ Slade, who's the son of Lil Jon. I mean, yeah, everybody knows Lil Jon.
Mhm.
But recently his son passed away, and his son was actually someone that I knew. He actually trained me as an intern at Stankonia Studios, where I'm working at
Wow.
now. And he was a part of kind of our crew there. So I went to his
Celebrate.
celebration. Like it was a man. It was something that was interesting though. It felt like a party. Like they had video games and open bar and free food. Like it was like a repass on super steroids, man. But I mean, I wouldn't expect Lil John to do anything regular, but it was definitely a nice situation. So just I went to that yesterday, and that kind of led to a long night at the studio. So I am a little tired, but I'm definitely feeling good. Also in day 3 of my fast, I also wanted to recognize something interesting this year that I read, as far as religious observance. This is for the first time, and I think in over 160 years, this is a year where Ramadan, Lent, and Passover fall at the same time.
Passover.
It might not be Passover, but it's a the no Chinese New Year.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Chinese New Year, Ramadan, and Lent started at the same day, and this is
Mm.
like the first time for 160 years. So again, we kind of talked about Ramadan a couple of days ago at the start, and just wanted to acknowledge all those of other faiths that are also recognizing their religious observance at this time, man. So it's a beautiful time. Everybody we need some cleansing, man, because there's a lot of devilish things going on in this world, man. So yeah. Peace to all those observing.
You ain't lying.
Man, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, not too bad. Also, just perpetually tired all the time. This is just it's really weird to first of all be getting older and just being tired. Period,
Man,
for tired's sake. But also,
time.
yeah, also just always in constant trying to figure out some balance on work and what it is you got to do for life, and also people don't really recognize how much your cognitive load is sitting on your brain over everything that's going on, over people sitting in ICE detention, and over people getting killed and shot, and ICE moving through the country, and everything that's happening. You think that you're only thinking about it when you're reading about it consciously, or when you're listening to us talk about it, some updates or whatever the deal. But really, your subconscious is working on it all day long, and it's just making
Man,
you tired,
man.
making you tired. So the more I think about what rest and meditation and stuff does for you to
Mm.
kind of cleanse the inside, and this cleansing vibe that you're talking about too. I know a lot of Christians don't really believe in doing meditation. They think it's really tied to a religion, but I know a lot of Christians that meditate on scripture, do what they got to do there in order to be able to cleanse the mind. So there's so many different ways and things that people need to do, and hold on to your faith now, because that's really the only thing that's going to take care of you on the inside in a big way, and also protect us. So I just been thinking about that a lot lately. My spiritual heritage that my family instilled. I've been thinking just about the fact that we're in situations right now, and it always comes down to like God gonna have to take care of that.
Mm.
It's
And God don't like ugly.
we talk every other day about what it is we can do. We can do. We can do. We can't do it all. Even what it is that we can do. And it's just like some of this stuff is gonna have to be handled on a level a little higher than my pay grade. That's all I'm saying.
Mm. Arms ain't long enough to box with God.
There you go, man. I'm seeing everybody going off today in the chat. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. Thank
yeah,
you,
yeah.
Mama. God said it was slippery at 4-ish. Really, oh man, it came in pretty strong. So thanks, Kimmer. Yeah, it was bad news, man.
Word.
I was definitely calling around, and normally we get reports of it's going to be bad weather, and I go crazy. I'm from Nebraska, so anything that looks like a blizzard and snow looks like death to me. So
You
I'm
from
calling
where?
around. I'm calling around frantically. You home? Everybody okay? And but this time it was warranted. That blizzard came in and hit everybody, and people started slipping, sliding around. Hot mess. So I'm happy today. I'm up. I'm glad everybody's safe. We're in the house, and that's what it's all about. One thing I do want to share before we get into it. I know we're already running late, but one thing I do want to share is I saw this yesterday. This is the blue. This is happening at Blue Note in
Man.
Hollywood. The significance here of this is incredible. Now, I write Family Day posts from time to time, and one of the ones I wrote was about family tradition. We had a family tradition back in California with my grandfather taking us to the Hollywood Bowl for the Playboy Jazz Festival all the years that I was growing up.
Hmm.
This is where he would pack the cooler, liver pate, caviar. You can be a kid and drink a glass of champagne at this mug. He wanted you to experience some things when you went to this jazz festival, and we went all growing up. It was at the Hollywood Bowl. It's called the Playboy Jazz Festival, and Bill Cosby was the host of it pretty much every year. So I got to see Stevie Wonder play there. The level of jazz artists and just black artists in general that was playing there was crazy, and that was real exposure as far as we were concerned. The family, we used to bring friends. I've been itching to get back to that that tradition for so long, and then me and you kind of started this whole Blue Note Jazz Festival tradition
Man.
by going to the first one out in Napa. This is like my worlds colliding right here. The Blue Note Jazz Festival at the Hollywood Bowl. That absolutely means I got to bring the tradition back for the fam in a big way. So this is something that I just want to share something that I'm personally excited about, and the reason why this is in June, and this is happening at the Hollywood Bowl. We're back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Man.
like to me, it's like we're back. And as you can see, look at the lineup here. Robert Glasper, Vince R&R now is going to be there, featuring Terrace Martin is going to be in the house. Of course, Patti LaBelle, Wyclef Jean is going to be there.
Man.
Gregory Porter, Samara Joy, who just won awards. I mean, these are all this is all a lot of
See my guy
the
Yusef.
yeah, Yusef Days. Come on, man. Herbie Hancock Institute of Jazz Performance Ensemble from UCLA.
Taylor
Going down.
McFerrin. I believe that's
Oh my
the
God.
daughter of Bobby McFerrin.
Come on, man. Come on, man. So anyway, I just wanted to share something, and it just reminded me, find something that brings you this particular to you, brings you joy,
Mm.
gives you something to look forward to. We a lot of times especially us that are trying to be as much caregivers as we can, we're always taking care of everybody else, and to the point where you start forgetting what it is you even like. And then something like that comes and reminds me, and I'm just like, I don't really do much. I'm gonna try to go to that. I'm gonna try to relive that, bring that tradition back, bring the young ones in my family to this tradition, and have create memories there that I had growing up. So anyway, just wanted to share that before we went along, because to me that's what it's all about. And if it is Friday, it's Love Supreme Friday.
There you go.
Very appropriate anyway.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, hey, I'm with it.
We'll come back and jump into some of these things here. We haven't got to anything yet.
No.
But yeah. Before we go to a break, let's go ahead and I'll do a couple of the community updates before
Okay.
we just
Okay.
get into it. Yeah. Just because we got a couple of important things that we definitely need to talk about here. So of course we already talked about we'll be speaking with the mayor here shortly. So stay tuned for that. Also wanted to give a shout out to Paul Philman, who's out there doing the good work too. He's out there still fighting. Protesting with ICE. He got with a lot of religious groups. They put a lot of statements out. I just want to give him some shout outs to the national news, and everybody's been kind of on his story of him going out there sacrificing. So we're just proud of our first guy Omaha Chad Chimer. You know what I'm saying? Paul Philman out there still doing the good work. Definitely wanted to give him some props as well. Also, this is coming up, and I got a special request to make sure that we mention this. This is Black History Month Community Power Series. Shout out to Senator Victor Roundtree, who's out here trying to fight right now for a few things in the legislature that we'll talk about coming up. This is going to be at the Carpenters Union, 10761 Virginia Plaza in La Vista. This is happening Wednesday, February 25th from 6 to 8. Food provided from Shug's Comfort Food. Man, get down with Shug's for real. Shout out to Sarpy County Democrats Black Caucus, Nebraska Democratic Party Black Caucus. They're hosting this, and it's going to be great, man. Charlene, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, Ligon. She's going to be appearing virtually, and then it's going to be Senator Victor Roundtree there for this event. So shout out to them. This is something that we ought to definitely look into. It's coming up as well. This is the 20th, so we got 5 days to kind of get our stuff together to be able to make it. But I'd love to show these organizations some love and show Senator Roundtree some love for real. He's one of the ones in the legislature that's really fighting.
Man.
Really fighting. So shout out to him. And and we'll save some more of these community updates for a little later on the show. Want to definitely get to the theme of today so that we can make sure that we got enough room to talk with our our mayor that's coming in a little bit later. But in the meantime, between time, buddy, let's go ahead and jump into what's the theme for the day. What is it that you have on your mind for us today?
Money, 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 money,
Hey,
money. Yeah, man. I'm talk about kind of towards the end of last episode, asked a very poignant question: how we gonna eat? How we gonna eat? So we're gonna talk about jobs today. Actually, talk about jobs in a few areas, and not just jobs, but also a few programs and things that are assisting people, namely our veterans. Definitely want to talk about some things that happened. Is actually a reversal from the Veterans Affairs Office on the national level. Of course, we've been talking about the state level. Pillins plan to move about 5 million or so from Veteran Affairs support on the state level. But again, there is some possible changes to the disability requirements on the federal level. For again veterans, which would have impacted their bottom line, kind of putting hands in their pockets, if you will. So yeah, I want to give some updates on that situation. But not just that, as you mentioned, Senator Roundtree getting into the ring on a couple of fights, one of which actually hits home for him. This disability situation. It seems like there will be money being taken away for service providers for those with disabilities. Again, the most vulnerable, kind of being impacted by a lot of these decisions. So definitely want to dive into what that situation looks like, what's going on there. And again, as you mentioned, big shout out to Senator Roundtree for speaking out and putting up a fight for this situation, because yeah, I know several people in my family that work with those with disabilities. It's actually it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to talk about, and people hanging in the balance with that situation. But it doesn't just stop there. I definitely want to talk about this ICE situation. Excuse me. Apparently, it's hitting home on a couple of fronts. There's a standoff between a federal judge and a DACA recipient in the middle of it, being held in a Sarpy County jail. So we'll talk about that situation. Big shout out to the ACLU kind of leading the fight in that. And then also our partners over at Flatwater Free Press dropping a pretty interesting article about a tech company that's apparently supplying ICE with surveillance tech. We've been talking about it. So again, it's hitting home, coming right out of our own backyard. Excuse me. So yeah, we got a lot to get into. Of course, we will be speaking with the mayor here coming up. So he has a few initiatives that he has. We talked about his brain gain initiative. Of course, the year of the neighbor, housing, police. It's a lot to talk about. Every question is ready coming up from Mayor Ewing. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
How we doing?
We doing terrible. We all lost schedule everywhere.
Yeah.
Every which way but loose, like they used to say back in the day. We'll take a quick break just to kind of regroup a little bit and get back to it. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God. Chat's going off. Appreciate you guys coming in this morning. Do us a favor, share the show. If you're on Facebook, you can share it on your page. And if you're on YouTube, share the link. Let's get as many people in the conversation as possible. Get your questions ready. We'll be talking to Mayor John Ewing shortly. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, buddy to God. Man, appreciate all you pops in the chat saying, hey, son, let me tell you about being tired. He says, I have to take a nap to be ready for bedtime. And bedtime is 5 o'clock. Yeah, I hear that. Pop says, he also says, I invented the liver pate, Philly cream cheese, caviar, smoked oysters, and topped with Louisiana hot sauce on a cracker. Okay, Pops.
That sounds like a good time.
Bro,
charcuterie.
We used to do it big before we knew what that was.
Man.
Hollywood Bowl, baby. That was what was up.
Man, I also want to give a shout out to Biko Kwanzaa in the chat, giving us some news out of Philadelphia, man. Again, shout out to all the listeners coast to coast, man. You know, First Guy Omaha nationwide. Our brother Biko says the current news in Philly, federal judge requests that the African slave exhibit he put back up on the first house be put back up. So nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, we
That's a
did hear that.
victory.
Lots of
Yeah,
victory.
yeah.
A couple victories happening around here. I'm glad
Yeah,
to hear.
yeah.
We'll take them.
Miss E, Miss E also says I saw the video yesterday of the mayor in Philly thanking the workers as they put the images back up. So okay, okay, putting some work in Philly. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Speaking of work, let's go ahead and get into it if that's all right. Again, we're here for the next hour and a half, I guess now. So yeah, join the conversation. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. I do want to start off in what I've been calling the affirmative. Again, a story that's going in the direction that we would like to see based on the theme of the season, and of course following the money, talking about economic development, getting to the bottom line, getting to the dollar, getting to the bag, if you will. And looks like there will be an opportunity on North 20th Street in the form of this CHI kitchen project. This coming out of WLWT, apparently a $14 million plan that will create hundreds of jobs in North Omaha. Again, coming in the form of CHI's kitchen expansion project. Again, CHI Health, the major healthcare system, is nearly doubling its kitchen staff as a part of a project that has been going on apparently for a decade. Construction will begin soon, with the facility expected to begin to open in 2027, when operational workers will prepare nearly 3,000 meals a day for CHI hospitals across the region. The building has sat vacant for years before CHI Health selected it for renovation. So again, one of the buildings in the Nodo area finally getting some life. Paul B, I
Yo,
know you kind of been looking in that area. What do you think? What do you think?
yeah, I'm one of many people who kind of scour what's going on in North Omaha and North Downtown and wonder what building is this and what could we do with this building and all that kind of thing. And I've been looking at these buildings for a while. I used to back in California, I had a Dragonfly Club, and it was a bunch of people who was driving 1968 Cadillacs, and I always wanted to say, hey, what if we had a place where we can park those, fix those. I have a couple mechanic friends, and we were thinking that these would be great to have some bays for mechanical work, and so on and so forth. Just thinking of ideas of what to do with some of these vacant spots in North Omaha, and this was one of them. And went to inquire about it. Couldn't find no information about the spot. It's par for the course, and that usually means, as far as I'm concerned, OEDC probably got it, which is exactly what's happening with this one. This new project that's coming up. We
Yeah.
did actually hear about the Central Kitchen project. It's been going on for a while, but OEDC is where we got this news. OEDC, Omaha Economic Development Corporation. We know we know him around here. We know Mike Maroney, who is the one who's heading that up, and he was out there with the gold shovel. I see Brother Pete Festerson out there with him, and also Brother Willie Barney out there. So there was a lot of people that showed up for this. Also, Lavanya Goodwin's Councilwoman Lavanya Goodwin, put some respect on her name, was out there as well with Mike Maroney and getting busy with it. And again, they're calling this the Central Kitchen Project. Is going to be the place where they CHI Health prepares all food for all patients everywhere in all their facilities. So
Man.
it's going to be a pretty big facility. Here's the floor plan of it. Central Kitchen floor plan. It's actually going to probably bring close to about 100 jobs into the area, and it will be one less building that's sitting there abandoned in North Omaha. And as we are, trying to be a part of what's going on as far as the Deuce is concerned, this is pretty close. 20th Street, it's pretty close to all the activity there, right down the street. And so, anybody trying to open up any businesses in the Deuce, especially food, we need food around there really bad.
Man.
And there might be another 100 workers in the area that might come up for lunch and so on and so forth, frequent the area. So it's always to me it's a good thing when we can bring some jobs and bring some stuff. Jobs is kind of one of the things we're going to be talking about today. So this is tying in on that level. It might be 100 positions. Now, of course, we always know if it's in our neighborhood, it doesn't necessarily mean that the people going to occupy the jobs are from the neighborhood, but economy can get a little bit infused as these things open and go. So, but
Yeah.
there's opportunities there. We're talking about it now. So if you are in that industry, you might think about trying to work there early. Get in
Man.
get in quick.
Even if you're not, maybe good time for career change. But I will say that we have been waiting on some kind of substantial project to actually show jobs. Of course, we've been talking about the business park situation on the other side of 24th, basically, and nothing has really come solid fruition out of that. Of course, a lot of talks, a lot of plans, a lot of money moving, but no jobs yet. So again, to see this concrete situation, more jobs, you see the shovels, the ground is broke, it's coming. So good. I say more good than bad in this situation. But of course, having the conversation with you, what say you? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you know anything about this situation before? Is this the first you've heard of it as well? And yeah, let us know what's going on. I know that there's definitely people that are always on top of these things because this is follow the money season. You follow the money. Where is the money coming from for these kinds of projects? We always are thinking about what kind of companies are involved. We see Lund Ross, who is a local construction company that's going to be doing the work. They're major. I think Lund Ross is the one that built Benson Theater for us. So there's major players out here, and we want to know the questions. Where's the money coming from? Where's the money
Man,
going? Did it come from Insorg? Is there,
actually,
all the questions? TIF money used? All the questions.
to that point, it does lay out kind of vaguely, but it does at least touch on where some of the money is coming from. As you mentioned, OEDC owns the building and has partnered with CHI Health on the project. So again, what that partnership entails, we don't know. But as far as the funds, private funders and grants jointly made this a $14 million project possible. So yeah. Follow the money a little bit
Yeah,
on this
yeah,
situation.
and not just follow the money to be critical of it. Follow the money to figure out how you gonna do something like that
Man,
next.
big time, big
Who's the
time, big
players? Who's
time.
the players? That's
Man,
what I
speaking
think.
of that, while we're seeing a lot of this development going on, we spoke to Brother Don Curry. If you're interested, you might want to reach out to him, get a little information on how he became a general contractor to be able to do some of the things that he's doing. Again, he mentioned he went through some program, got his general contractor's license, and now he's off to the races. There's going to be a lot of edifice, a lot of buildings being built over the time, So, it might be again opportunity. Even if you didn't get the Insorg money, there's money coming to the area. So again, even if it's indirect, you can benefit from some of these things for providing much needed services to the businesses that are coming. So let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going.
Yeah. Two more things about that. Miss Hickerfeld in the chat is saying the article says their priority is to hire community. Yep.
Nice,
They're gonna make
nice.
that
Okay.
statement. We'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, I think that's always priority. And also because it's in the area, I always think about who's getting displaced. That building has been sitting there vacant for a really long time. So it's not really like they're moving people away from the neighborhood to be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of people that are surrounding that are living in the neighborhood that have to deal with some construction for the next couple of years. But for the most part, it's an addition to what's going on in North Omaha as far as we're concerned. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
I would say one thing that's not an addition though, and kind of making another industry a little harder is this apparently plans to cut what could be up to $16,000 in pay cuts from disability service coordinators. Again, this is the situation where Senator Roundtree, who has an adult son with disabilities, he's feeling impacted directly and speaking up, not because of his station as an elected official, but because this is something that is impacting his home. Again, shout out to KMTV3 for this report, saying a Nebraska mother who provides round-the-clock care for her disabled son is among thousands of families facing uncertainty after the state abruptly ended its contract with disability service organizations. The letter stated that the state would be absorbing LHD's duties by April 1st. Nebraska needs to hire more than 100 service coordinators in just 6 weeks to replace the workers, and the transition faces a major obstacle. However, of course, the state position pays less than current salaries. Kind of, again, very similar to what we've seen happen with the child welfare situations with the St. Francis Ministries takeover of child welfare, and then child welfare workers being lumped with multiple cases, and it just being an unsustainable situation. And it's kind of looking like that. That's again Buddy the God saying. But let's get back to the article. Again, some of the other obstacles that may be faced during this transition. State coordinator positions pay about $44,000, while LHD, which is again the disability provider, currently pays about 60,000, 50 to 60,000 annually. That represents again a pay cut of nearly $16,000. Again, over $1,000 a month. Excuse me, over $1,000 a month less for workers. And one coordinator provided a written statement on condition of anonymity, revealing that approximately 60 workers in Omaha are losing their jobs altogether. So again, and this is something that is impacting homes. I know several people personally who work with quote unquote clients, as they call them. Again, individuals with disabilities who, again, are getting the service that they need. These are people who, might need assistance at home to just do everyday activities around the clock. And if the money isn't there or for those service providers, then that's services that they're not getting. So again, more of the most vulnerable people getting impacted by some of these budget cuts, as there's still a $400+ million shortfall in Nebraska, and it's not stopping there. We'll be getting into the disabled veteran situation here in a second. But to this effect, Paul, what say you? Chat, what say you?
Yeah, definitely like to hear what the chat has to say about that, and also what the mayor has to say about that. We'll be speaking with him shortly as well. Yeah, this is, and also I'm going to reach out to Senator Roundtree and see if we can talk to him a little bit about what's going on as well with this. But very concerning for sure. So we'll see. And like I said, I'll leave it to the chat. I'll leave it to you guys to kind of tell us what you think about this. I'm developing the questions that I have for our elected officials to figure out what's going on there. That doesn't sound like. It sounds like kind of par for the course what's going on in the state a little bit, with just like just things being taken away, programs being taken away, and I don't know if this is associated with the state deficit, but why is it that we got to fight for these things all the time? Why is it the first thing on the table to have to leave when they're trying to save money or whatever they're trying to do? I'm not really sure. So, like I said, still developing the thought, developing my questions on this. Let us know what you think, and we'll definitely talk to some of our elected officials about it as we go.
Definitely. You want to jump into the next article? You want to take a break? How you thinking?
You
How you
tell
feeling?
me. Do you need a quick break?
Yeah. Let's kind
Yeah.
of taste. It cleans the palate a little bit, if you would.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. Again, stay tuned. Very shortly, we have Mayor John Ewing that's going to join us for our monthly meetup with the mayor, so we can have some conversations. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be buddy to God. Welcome back for Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be buddy to God. All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for joining us this morning. I appreciate everybody who did get up. I know a lot of people have taken off of work today because of the weather. So if you still got up early, even though you didn't have to go to work, we give you a special thank you. We appreciate that very much. Also, RG says, let me get out here and shovel this snow and put y'all in my coat pocket. That's what's up. You listen to us as you go. Handle business. Take care of yourself out there, bro. I've been reading a lot. You know me. I'll be nervous about any kind of this kind of weather. I read a lot about us who got a little age on us, little 30s, 40s, and you start really kind of looking at what's going on with how much energy you expend out there shoveling. So just be careful, because apparently people can have heart attacks out there. Your arteries, they're already restricted, and you're out there trying to pump a bunch of blood through them shoveling. And I didn't hear about it till I got to Omaha. So That's what it is. So be careful. Judy Printer says, I'm here and listening. Right on, Judy Printer. Appreciate you
Hey,
coming on in. Thank you. Marlon Harrison, you cracking me up, bro. You
what
the
do you say?
play crew, bro. He said, hopefully they hire some good cooks because we all know hospital food is bland. He don't care about he don't care about the shovel ready. He don't care about the hunter. He don't care about nothing.
Hey,
He
don't
said,
want none of
hey,
them bland chicken
if
nuggets.
they cooking food, then the cooks better be right. They ain't gonna be in
Hey,
our
hey,
neighborhood. I heard that, Marlon
yeah, I
Harrison.
feel it. I feel it. You know, hey, that's a good way to heal from
Marlon
the
Harrison
stomach.
be in the hospital on his third plate.
Hey, don't let me find you putting yourself in the hospital. Get them plates. And hey, I think I'm
I
sick,
love it.
doc.
I love it. Third plate crew, man after my own heart. I love it very much. I don't do. Yeah, I love it. Good food, good drink, good company, good music, good stories. That's life. That's
Hey,
living
hey,
life.
tell you what
Seven,
God loves.
that's right. And the truth. That and the truth. It is 7:40 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I'm glad you're joining us here on this Friday. It's a Love Supreme Friday, but it's also monthly Meetup with the Mayor Friday. So
Hey,
it's going down shortly. Stay tuned for that. Get your questions ready. In the meantime, between time, let's jump into something before he gets here, buddy. What's next on the agenda?
yeah, still talking about jobs, still talking about the bottom line, and still talking about our most vulnerable, citizens, community members being impacted by some of these decisions, going from those with disabilities, again, needing care workers, to our veterans with disabilities and veterans in general, kind of feeling the pinch, especially under this, I almost said Obama, Trump administration, and Pillin, aka Trump Jr., kind of following the lead. And this is point in case of why I call him Pillin or Trump Jr. Again, the proposed budget bill would have allowed for millions of dollars to be withdrawn from the Veterans Aid Fund, to the tune, I believe, of $5 million being taken. The proposed budget bill introduced on behalf of Governor Pillin would allow for millions to be withdrawn from the state's Veterans Aid Fund, the fund used for medical bills, housing, food, funeral expenses, and other essential needs for veterans. But again, it didn't stop there. Just on the state level, going to the federal level, there are talks recently about the Department of Veteran Affairs under Trump's again call, halting plans to enforce a controversial rule that would have cut disability compensation for veterans making claims. The decision follows backlash from veterans groups. So again, shout out to the farmers, shout out to the veterans, shout out to everybody that's speaking up and speaking out against these political decisions that are impacting all of us, mostly negatively. VA Secretary Douglas Collins posted on X on Thursday that the agency will not enforce the rule, but will continue to collect public comment. So again, I believe Mayor Sanchez saying that he's a disabled veteran. I know my father and stepfather are also veterans. So if you are a loved one or are a veteran as well, reach out, continue to speak up about this situation, because again, they're coming for all of our money, man. They're coming for the pockets. The department had initially issued the rule Monday, saying it would take effect immediately. However, the new policy was set to require that examiners take into consideration the effects of medication, essentially making it easier for the agency to consider veterans less disabled if their medicine effectively treats their disability. Basically saying, as long as you're doped up on your medicine, go out there and work, and you don't need our help. But again, we all know our veterans dealing with PTSD, combat, injuries, the most vulnerable. So again, shout out to all of those speaking out, and impacting bottom lines.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. I feel like this is all really bad news when we're talking about all these programs and stuff that's being taken away. Um, yeah, what say you? I definitely want to reach out to the people in the chat about this. Anthony Rogers right in the chat. Is this related? He says for over a week and have been. Wait a minute, we missed the first part of his comment here. Maybe forced to scramble and find hotel rooms to sleep in because of yet another landlord taking advantage of the poor. Enough is enough. I'm sorry, we'll have to get back to your comment there. I must have missed your original comment, but yeah, as far as this is concerned, this will be a good question to kind of put to our local politicians as we have been describing. We will. And what can be done about this, and yeah, this is just another example of what you say, of the preemptive kind of move that happens even before the administration decides that has to be something that they're going to put upon us on a federal level too. So yeah, we will have our special guest. As a matter of fact, we're waiting in the wings. We're going to bring him in just a second here, and this will be a question that we can ask as well. What can Omaha do here on this issue, and
Yeah.
what's being done to being taken care of our folks? So without further ado, we'll go ahead and bring him in. This is our monthly meetup with the mayor, ladies and gentlemen. Mayor John Ewing is
Good,
joining us this morning. Good morning.
good morning. Thank you guys for having me again.
Hey,
Oh, thanks for joining us. Thanks for doing this.
we just glad you're coming back. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know you the busiest man in politics right now, so we appreciate you taking the time this morning to get up with us.
Absolutely.
Before we get going, how are you? How's it going? How's the family?
Oh, I'm doing great. Got my workout in. It looks like snow removal's going pretty well. The major arterial roads are about 90% clear, which you can't beat when you had 6 to 9 inches of snow and heavy snow at that. So proud of the job that Public Works did.
That's good. You
Yeah.
go. Those plows gonna be digging up the holes in the ground now. So now you're gonna be on pothole duty next. You got a plan for that?
That's okay. Oh, absolutely. We've got hot patch that will allow us to be able to make more permanent fixes to any potholes that come up. We want people certainly to reach out to the mayor's hotline and let us know where they're at so that we can get them filled as quickly as possible. So we're always looking to provide great service.
Okay.
If I
Okay.
remember correctly, that hot patch is something different than what was going in before. We had a cold patch or something in before. That
Yes, it was a cold patch, and what that did basically was it would fill the pothole, but then it was more prone to shrinkage and things of that nature. Then you get water from melting snow, and then you have a pothole that reappears. So this should seal the pothole significantly better.
There
hot
you
patch.
go. Okay. Okay. What is that? What's the hotline? We've already had a few people ask about potholes in the chat this morning.
Sure.
Do you have the hotline available?
Sure, I believe the number is 402-444-5555. And I can
There you go.
verify that for you guys and send you a message, but I never call it, so I don't know what it is right off the top of my head.
You only answer it. Don't call
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I get all the reports, all the good stuff, as well as any complaints there might be.
Okay, okay. Well, appreciate that. And there you go. Again, a few folks in the chat already asked about the potholes. Please drive safely. For those of you who have to deal with this madness out there in the streets. And again, thanks for clearing that up, Mayor. If you don't have any questions, Paul, you want to dive
No, go ahead and
into it?
start. Yeah, go ahead and start. Yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. Again, really kind of pick up where we left off as far as jobs and specifically veterans. Just kind of, I know you had your brain gain initiative that was announced what was that, last week, I believe.
I think it was a couple weeks ago, but very recently.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very recently. So just kind of let's start there as an entry point. I know again you have a plan for economic development. When we initially spoke to you in your office, you talked about jobs. So kind of what is the ideology behind this, and what do you hope to come out of it?
Sure. Well, one of the things that we know is that we lose somewhere around 4,500 college educated people from Nebraska, with most of those coming from the Omaha area every year. And that's a net. We gain some and we lose some, but we lose a significant number of college educated and especially young professionals. And so our goal is to create two things that I think are critically important. Number one is we want to create more high paying jobs. So we actually have an effort in the legislature to do that, where we reward companies for bringing in new jobs, whether they be an existing company that's expanding in Omaha or a company that is moving to Omaha. We will reward them for creating permanent high paying jobs. So that's number one. I think the second thing is we always want to make sure we're creating an environment for all of our people where they feel like they can reach their dreams and have success here in Omaha, Nebraska, and partnering with them to provide the right type of training, as well as giving them an opportunity to be able to skill up if they need skills to be able to get the new jobs that are coming.
Okay. What are some of those initiatives that do some skills? So I know there's like a skill up out there that's happening.
Yes.
Yep, yep.
There's a skill up program with the Empowerment Network. There's also obviously Metropolitan Community College and the things they're really doing with the trades and certificates. Then UNO also has a skill up program where they are providing certificates and other opportunities for training that leads directly to jobs. And it's a very new initiative, but they're doing a great job with that, as well as we have a number of other colleges, especially in the medical field, like University of Nebraska Methodist College, where they're providing training that lead to jobs as well through a certification program. So we're just trying to bring all of those things together. Then our economic development task force is also working on those types of things, as well as we're focusing on entrepreneurship so that we can help people be able to start their own businesses and be successful. And then with that, we also have the small emerging business plan with the Human Rights and Relations Department, where we're actually taking and saying for contracts between $15,000 and $50,000, if we have at least three small emerging businesses, then one of them will receive that contract. So trying to be very intentional. And then we're also going to be challenging other organizations to attempt to do the same type of thing with small and emerging businesses as they go out and do procurement.
Nice,
I
nice.
got a question for your from your
Mhm.
perspective, as you're studying all these things and getting preparing and trying to gather all these resources together. What are some of the uh, uh, markets out there? What are some of the things you can point people to? Say, hey, there's some jobs over here.
That was,
Sure.
I was just
Just
gonna
get
ask
this
that.
training and go
Mhm.
for it. You know.
Well,
And
there,
to
oh, go
I
ahead.
wanted to add to that the couple the state level the DED, are you in any talks with the state as far as industries or businesses that you know want to get into or feel like are you know like Paul said people should be looking at.
Sure. So a couple things that we know that are out there that people really could be stepping into right now. One is the opportunity to be able to go and get a trade.
Hmm.
Those are
Mhm.
very, very high paying jobs. And there's a tremendous demand as we expand, as we build things in Omaha. We need to make sure we have the labor here instead of folks coming in from outside of Omaha to do that work. I think that's a critical opportunity that's out there. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm pulling the president of Metropolitan Community College, a good friend of mine, Ron Kaminsky, and then all of the unions that we have in the city. I'm pulling all of them together within the next week or so to be able to say, okay, we've got these training opportunities. What are we doing to make sure people actually get the training and then they get a job? So we're going to look at pulling all of that together because they're all doing great work. That's always the case. People are doing great work trying to do the right thing, but then we need to make sure that we have a synergy and we're pulling it all together. So that's one. I think another one that I just talked to one of the CEOs about just yesterday was the opportunity for AI. There's a
Mm.
lot of companies that are investing in that. And what he and I talked about is the opportunity to try and bring the entire community together. I know UNO is doing it as well. So if we can get everybody together, get everybody on the same page, then we do something that I think is critically important. We bring the entire community along with us and we're not leaving people behind. The days of leaving people behind and not getting everybody the training that is necessary for us to compete as a city and as a state are gone. I
Mm.
think the other thing, we are working very closely with the chamber on trying to attract businesses as well. And I'm going to be meeting with some folks that are looking to relocate here to Omaha next week as well. But we're trying to do those type of things with the chamber and then certainly with the Department of Economic Development for the state. They have some opportunities where they're looking at trying to find people in specific uh, job types or industries. And so we're always looking to make sure that we have a good partnership between the industries that are coming here and the skills that people need to be able to get those jobs. And then a huge part of the legislative effort really is, once again, to be able to retain our companies. We have some companies that we can retain with this effort. And then one of them is looking at bringing 2,000 high paying jobs here to Omaha. Another one is looking to bring 1,000 high paying jobs. And then we have another number of other companies that I've actually talked to about, hey, if you're going to expand here in Omaha, Nebraska, and we'll get the packages together so that we can compete. And so I'm having those conversations. I've talked to numerous business people and looked at how we can be a better partner with them. Then I think the one thing we talked about quite a bit is we don't do as good a job as we could with helping small businesses. And
Mm.
so we want to make sure that we're bringing them to the table and getting them the skill set that they need. And we just had a meeting yesterday with Bridget Hadley, who is our one of our assistant directors in the planning department, looking at building an ecosystem where we can plug people into the training and the opportunities they need to be successful. And one of the business executives that I was talking to yesterday said that's one of the things that we have an opportunity for as well. So we're building momentum for these things as we look at specifically where we're weak or where we could be better.
Okay.
Mm. Nice.
We know that
Definitely.
we
Yeah.
have a limited time with you, and there was a couple people in the chat. I wanted to get
Hmm.
to
Sure.
that before we get to that real quick, though, because I know these are going to be answers that we'll have to dig into even after your visit. One thing that's been a running thing with us. I know this is totally a whole nother subject, but
It's
our
okay.
our audience is always asking if crime is low, why do we need more police?
Sure.
Why is
Well,
there what's going on with the agreement that's happening where it's giving police more money? We have to ask the police question before we get out of here.
sure, not a problem at all. One of the things we have to do is we have to make sure that we're not just plugging the holes in terms of staffing with overtime and things like that, that then burn police officers out. We do have a low crime rate. The goal is to keep that low crime rate, but also we have to do more community policing. We have to be out there with the community doing things with them. This is not about more enforcement, other than I think we have to do a better job with some of the traffic things we're seeing in terms of speeding and those type of things that create a danger for all of us who are on the road. We've seen examples of people driving well in excess of 100 miles an hour on the interstate and on the Dodge Expressway. Those are things
Hmm.
we have to address. That's a public safety issue. One of the things most people forget and don't think about is that we usually have 1.5 to 2 times as many people dying each year in Omaha because of motor vehicle accidents.
Mm,
So
Wow.
we'll have a low number of homicides, and that's fantastic. But if you've got over 40 people dying on our streets, they're still dead.
mm.
Yeah.
And so my responsibility is public safety and doing what I can to make our streets safe as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
I appreciate that answer. We'll dig in more
Sure.
in future visits on that with you especially. And I'm sorry, buddy. I know I'm trying to make sure that we respect the mayor's
No,
time
I
here.
appreciate that.
Also, there is a situation that's happening here. I'm trying to follow what Anthony Rogers Wright is saying, and I wonder if you are aware of this situation. If we can look into this a little later, he says people at another apartment complex have not had power for over a week, and have been forced to scramble and find hotel rooms and sleep in because of yet another landlord taking advantage of the poor. I'm not sure if you know about this particular situation. Maybe you and Anthony Rogers Wright can talk about that particular one, and if there's anything
Well,
being
I
done.
can I can tell you if it's 45th and Lafayette, what we're doing.
Okay.
First of all, the reason that they don't have power is because someone vandalized the electrical equipment on the apartment building.
Man.
And so when they did that, the landlord had to order a new part. They actually had one that was going to take about 4 weeks to get in, but they were able to find a more expensive one that would take about 2 weeks to come in. So that's been about 3 or 4 days since they were able to get it ordered. Now, what that means is there are people, because of the cold weather, that we don't want staying in that apartment complex. So
Mm-hmm.
the city actually added money to the money that is available to pay for people's apartments or hotel stays so
Mm-hmm.
that they could be safe. Because what you have when you don't have electricity and other utilities, then you potentially have freezing pipes. And we wanted to make sure that we didn't have that additional damage to the apartment complex and ruin people's property, ruin the apartment complex, and people not have an opportunity to return. So we actually added money to that effort to be able to get people a safe place to stay.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I guess what in that situation, what more can you do besides helping them get a
Yeah, I
hotel
can't I
until the
can't in
park?
good
Right,
conscience have people staying in an apartment complex with no electricity, then no
Right.
water.
right,
Right.
especially in below zero
Yeah.
Yeah.
temperatures. Speaking of that, but I know you short on time.
Mhm.
Housing. I mean, just housing in general.
Sure.
There's been some questions. There's actually a bill coming out. We'll talk about here in a second. That would a Nebraska bill that would basically make sleeping on the sidewalk illegal. And just wondering the direction the city is going as far as housing. What are your direct thoughts and plans?
Sure. So let me start with the bill. If we see a bill like that that treats people inhumanely, we're going to oppose it. So our homeless coordinator went down and testified against that bill. We also sent information explaining, one, how that's not the way we should be treating people, but the additional cost and expense to the city and the impact on the police department in terms of having to arrest people, and then the budget impacts, all those things that would have a negative impact on the police department. What we're trying to do is develop a long-term plan with permanent housing for people who are homeless, so they have the opportunity to get housing and then be able to get all of the services they need. So hopefully we then can address the issues that they have. And so there's two buildings that we have under discussion right now, and we're looking at then making sure that we have the ability to get those buildings, but also have someone run the buildings so that you have the proper nonprofit organization that's familiar with that type of operation to make sure it's a safe place as well. So we're
Okay.
always looking at it. And we just had that discussion. I had a discussion with one of our nonprofits last week about a building. Then we just had another discussion, I believe it was Wednesday, about the possibility of acquiring a second building. So we're looking at acquiring those buildings and having up to 100 units to be able to put people in to keep them safe.
There you go.
Appreciate that. I'm glad that I'm hearing about buildings. That's something that I feel is definitely needed. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We're already 3 minutes past what our agreed upon time was for you to go. So I appreciate you sticking around with us a few more minutes there, and we'll go ahead and let you go. Please think about the situation that our resident child care operator in the chat is talking about child care facilities and support. She says if we don't support in-home child care providers that allow choice for parents, and if we don't get the city planning in to understand home licenses, home two licenses, then none of these employees can work. This might be something that we can address coming up.
Sure.
Um,
I'll just give you a quick 30-second
okay.
overview. We have been talking to the United Way in the chamber about building capacity for all of the child care providers, because we know we have a gap of about 4,700 spaces for people who live and work in Omaha, Nebraska. And so you will be hearing probably in the next 2 weeks about the issue. And then we're talking about some of the ways that we then can address that as well. So once they get all the research done, they'll release that information, but we're already looking at potential solutions where we would help home care providers and even centers be able to build capacity. Because if we can get them to build capacity, let's say they go from 10 to 18, that's then 8 less slots that we need, and we can do that relatively inexpensively. The one thing we can't do that people might want us to do is pay for the actual workers, but we can help with facilities.
Okay, we got to work on helping getting the workers paid next, though. I don't know.
Well, that is something that the city can't do. If there's an effort by the state or somebody else to be able to help supplement wages, then, or the business community, then that's something that we certainly would explore. But that's just not something we can do with any private business, regardless of the type of entity that it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you addressing that. Thank you very much. And
Absolutely.
we'll talk more about it later. Just wanted to give
Okay.
one more shout out to Tamara Dwyer, your homeless service coordinator. She was been on the show. I'm very, and we've been working with her on resources stuff. So I'm very impressed with watching some of the stuff that happens. That we had that snow last night, and I was watching her post to see if she was thinking about these folks and on it, and she's on it. So just wanted to shout
Yeah.
out.
Thank you for that. I think she's doing a great job, and we've been able to pull people together in partnership to try to address the issues.
Love it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Monthly meetup with the mayor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, wait a minute. I'm messing up stuff here.
We all right?
Yeah. Technical thing here at the end, right at the end. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate your comments. I'm sorry I didn't get to a lot of them. We have usually our interviews last around 25, 30 minutes. We only really have 15 minutes with the mayor, and that's kind of why we were kind of rushing through. So, and we want him to come back. So we want to make sure we don't go too far over. So I appreciate you guys, your patience. If you have any questions or want to bring up any of the things that you are bringing up in the chat, I highly suggest you contact the mayor's office. They're actually this is actually an office that is really receptive to getting feedback and to having conversations. He's made some time. He's even hired some folks to interact with the community more, so that he wants to be that kind of a mayor, more accessible, especially to us over here on the east side. So we appreciate that very much, and all your questions. If you can take your questions and send them to the mayor, then I'm sure that he will get back to you and answer those. But in the meantime, between time, shout out to the mayor for joining us today. I'm glad that we got to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've been, the evergreen stuff that's been going on here with our conversations.
Yeah, man.
And you can always hit us up as well, so that we can kind of prepare some more questions when the mayor comes next time. We can do that. And we also talk in between this month as well. So there's times when we send some requests and some questions to the mayor, and talk to other people from the mayor's office during the month. So you can always hit us up at firstsky.omaha@gmail.com with anything that you want us to pass along as well. So appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody joining us. We're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the Guy. We'll take a quick break and jump back into the conversation, see if we can glean something from some of the things that the mayor talked about, and bring them into the fold when it comes to some of these issues that we're constantly on. This, especially this past couple of weeks, some of the things that's really been standing out from the likes of Trump Jr., as Buddy likes to call him. We'll be back. Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B. Buddy the Guy. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Man, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God.
Hey.
We're in the second hour, and that means we're going to cut loose a little bit, have some deeper conversation. Appreciate everybody that's sticking around and joining us. Love to hear what's going on with you. RG, you still outside shoveling? Be careful now. There is a lot of snow on the ground. Oh, I see Willie Williams in the chat. Good morning. She said, bless you. Seen your name in a while. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Yep. And a lot of other, got some new names here and some other folks that are going for it. Mama Guy says, go mayor. That's what's up. Tisa Hart in the chat saying, kudos to the mayor of my back street is already cleared. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. We're this is the thing. We're testing it out. I remember this when I first started really understanding what the mayor's job is, especially when it comes to the streets. Special job when it comes to cleaning up the snow. Are the side streets done? Which parts of town gets shoveled first? These were all questions that I had, but they seem to be on it right now. So, that's what's up.
What a change! What a change!
Buddy, how you feeling over there? What's going on with you? You good?
Feeling good. Yeah, just kind of getting my mind right for the second hour. Thinking about the points I want to touch on and things like that, and also recapping what the mayor just said. So it's again, Stalter would never. I just.
What's sticking out in your mind of some of the points that he had today?
Oh, well, actually, I lined it up for this next article, and the fact that he said that the city will oppose this bill. I did want to dive into this bill because it's interesting, and it touches on things that we've been talking about here on the show, namely our houseless brothers and sisters, housing, and kind of the police state that we find ourselves in. It's very interesting. My question with this is, what's the end game? But let's get into the details of it, if you will. This actually coming out of Lincoln, 1011 Now News in Lincoln reports that a bill pending before the Nebraska legislature will criminalize sleeping in public places and allow the state to withhold funds from cities not in compliance. This is LB 925. Would have law enforcement direct people experiencing homelessness to shelters on the first offense and make it a Class 5 misdemeanor afterwards. A Class 5 is the lowest penalty in the state of Nebraska, with no mandated jail time and a maximum $100 fine. Supporters, including the bill's introducer, Senator Bob Anderson, and of course Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hansen, says it's necessary to protect both people and public health. Opponents say it's not a cure for the homeless crisis, but a cost-prohibitive penalty to those who already can't afford it. Anderson, who represents Sarpy County, said he knows his bill won't solve the homeless crisis, but says it's about creating a baseline of public safety and order in communities for those experiencing homelessness. No one should freeze to death on the streets of Omaha, and no one should feel unsafe stepping outside their home or apartment. Again, Lincoln has one shelter, which is, again, my issue with this. Again, on the first, as this article just mentioned, on the first offense, quote unquote, people are to be directed to a shelter. But again, if there's one shelter and those shelters are already full, then where can people go? Which is my issue with this bill. If people have nowhere to go and they just, I'm pretty sure no one is just choosing to sleep on the street. They have nowhere else to go, or they feel like that is a safer situation for them at that time. And to criminalize that, even, a $100 fine, if they don't pay that fine, then what? They say it's no mandatory jail time, but if you get enough of those $100 tickets that you can't afford to pay, what does that mean? So again, a lot more questions than answers. But again, per our conversation with the mayor just recently, just a couple minutes ago, he said the city will oppose this and kind of feels the same way I'm feeling towards this. Paul, chat, what say you?
Definitely. From the conversation that we're having with Miss Tamara Dwyer, who's the homeless coordinator over there, going to the legislature to fight those fights, part of the job. So I'm learning a lot more about what her job is, just in being in contact with her on these resources and things. And so, yeah, the fact that they are going forth to oppose it is very telling. Also, what I'm thinking about is what the mayor just said about more buildings. This is what we we always are like. There's a couple places you can go for homeless shelters, and then after that, what do you do? And of course, we've gone through, the sheriff clowning, talking about bring him in your house and all the stuff that he was on, because this question has been going on for months and years now. What happens when those places are full, and where can you go? So I'm happy to hear that the mayor's office is doing something about actually putting some facilities together for more places to shelter in. So yeah, that's to me, that's where I stand on it. I'm happy to see that this particular mayor and his in the office is doing something to fight against these things.
Man,
So
it's funny you mentioned Aaron Hansen of it all, because again he's one of the ones pushing this bill. So
Sheriff Aaron Hansen, yeah,
yep.
yeah, very interesting. He's got some kind of coordination going on in his office, quote unquote. I don't know why he just don't work with the mayor's office on it. Maybe he is, who I'm not really sure, but yeah, I think that if there was something to be done, and the reason why I feel skeptical and I'm like this about it is because why come on and make jokes about bringing homeless folks in your house then, if you're really serious about doing something about it, if you're really putting some kind of effort into that situation. But then pushing for criminalizing it is kind of wild, and
That's
$100 they ain't
my
got
thing.
in the first place.
And just we already know how loaded a word like criminal is. You know what I mean? So to criminalize something like homelessness is interesting. It's just very interesting. And my question with all of this ultimately is, what's the end game? Like, what, they already acknowledge that this isn't going to be a solution. So where's the solutions?
Yeah. We've been learning a lot from our last, our last conversation with Tamara Dwyer. I've been thinking a whole lot about some of the things that we talked about on that show, and learn on her interview. If you missed that interview, go back to YouTube and check it out. But just learning about what works in the first. Let's talk about what works in the first place.
Man.
Like it doesn't work to make a person a criminal and fine them money that they don't have in the first place. That does nothing for getting them somewhere safe. That does nothing for getting them off the street or wherever they're at. It does nothing. So it makes the situation worse, as a matter of fact. So what do you do? It's almost like he's pushing this kind of law to force people to do something. Maybe that's where the whole "bring them in your own house" message is coming from. Because you're by making a bill like this, you're forcing people to do something about we're already struggling to try to figure out how to help and what to do in the first place. So so now, in order, now they make it even more precarious to be out there, which I don't see how that helps.
And
So, yeah.
another aspect to this bill, and again, Trump Jr. penalizing people who don't comply. Again, another aspect of this bill was that the state would withhold state funds from cities who don't comply. So again, as Mayor Ewing said, a homeless coordinator, Tamara Dwyer, already went to oppose this bill. If this bill passes, and the Omaha police or the city of Omaha just kind of is lenient on this per se, could that mean that state funds could be withheld from Omaha? So again, this is definitely something to look out for.
Anthony Rogers Wright in the chat is saying that the origin of this bill is the result of what's been happening in California, the blue progressive bastion into the west. It's Governor Newsom construct. Okay. Wanda Lewis says, at what age does sleeping in public places apply? I haven't seen older people fall asleep in public places all the time. Could be waiting on the nursing home van or the bus. You clowning. You clowning. And leaving doctor's appointments. Wanda Lewis, you clowning today. Clarice Jackson in the chat, good morning. Appreciate you. Yeah, this is something that we'll definitely highly look into, and I really don't understand what Sheriff Hansen was what's behind this. Speaking of which, side note, digress for a second. Speaking of sheriffs, shout out to Precious McKesson who sent this over. We have somebody running for sheriff.
Hey,
Mark Martinez, who the tagline was like, more than qualified to leave. You know who Mark Martinez is? Let us know. Apparently he's running for sheriff. We are talking about that, man. We've been talking about the 6 to dismiss all last season as well. Shout out to Precious McKesson on that one, and Sheriff Aaron Hansen was one of the 6 to dismiss as far as that list was concerned. And the next question was, okay, well, if you want him out the seat, who do you want in the seat?
Right.
So the questions are being answered as we go along. We are in election season, primaries coming up, And Mark Martinez looks like he's going to be running for sheriff. So it'll be interesting to get to know who this person is and see what's happening. It's always something very strange.
Six to
Appreciate.
dismiss.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you guys coming through with this right now. As a matter of fact, I appreciate that article and bringing some attention to that. If you have any more insights on those things, let us know what we can do. Highly encouraged about these buildings that the mayor is talking about. We need it. I always wonder that we only got a few shelters around, so like,
Yeah.
what, why don't we use some of these other places for that?
Also, speaking of aside from the shelters, really, I will say I appreciate what Sheriff Hansen said in this regard in the article, as far as saying when he's quoted saying when you're dealing with these individuals in the tents, he says is excuse me, less about affordable housing and more about access to mental health and addiction services.
Sure.
Which I do agree there is that, but at the same time, why push a bill to have officers enforce this legislation, because that also means officers have to actually go and arrest people and ticket people that are sleeping on the streets, which if you're already short of officers, that's just more work for what. But also, why not give that money to those services like mental health and drug addiction?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah, make it make sense. But carrying along,
Mm-hmm.
in other news, speaking of making it make sense, again, I asked the question: what is the end game for a lot of this? As we kind of have already laid out, a bill like what we just talked about with the homeless or houseless situation, ultimately looks like it will lead to more incarceration. Because, as I mentioned, even with that bill, which is just a ticket, we all know after a few tickets, if you don't pay those tickets, a warrant follows usually, which is interesting. And I'm actually glad you brought up the whole sheriff run, because we got to look at, you mentioned the relationship between the sheriff's office and some of these agencies, most namely the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, as there is a federal standoff, really, you can call it, happening in Nebraska, and ICE is resisting. And this is a big shout out again to the ACLU of Nebraska, who's kind of in this fight. Grant Friedman, who's the attorney for the ACLU, representing Mr. Angel Becerril. Again, this is the Nebraska DACA recipient who has been placed in deportation, held in a Sarpy County jail for as an ICE detainee. But again, a federal judge has ruled that this individual, Joel Angel Becerril, again, be released or put on bond immediately. Under this order, ICE can no longer unlawfully deny our client a bond hearing. Again, that's according to Grant Friedman with the ACLU. He went on to say he will have a chance to make his case for release on bond. This is a big step forward, and we are hoping it means he will soon be back with his family. Again, in the case, the ACLU said Lorena Alcaron, who has been in the Lincoln County Detention Center in North Platte since January following an arrest on suspicion of a misdemeanor. Her attorney says she has been in the United States for about 25 years and has 3 sons, 2 adults, and a teenager as well. So again, there has been nationally rulings of thousands and thousands of illegal detainees and legal detainments from ICE. And again, when we look at what's happening here in Nebraska, Trump Jr. kind of pushing the lead. We're going to see more cooperation from Nebraska. Let's just call it what it is on the ICE front. So again, shout out to those of the likes like ACLU fighting and putting in the work.
Yep. I had to kind of remind myself a little bit about what DACA was: deferred action for childhood arrivals. So just thinking about young kids that are coming to this country with their families, and all they know is this country, and for them to be in fear of being deported back to somewhere they don't know is pretty hard, pretty ruthless. Not to mention, this is a digression as well, but I've been seeing reports of certain politicians that are trying to deport indigenous people, and I'm like, to where? What are you talking about?
Man,
it's pretty wild. But the dreamers as well. There's also kids whose parents came here and they didn't have documentation, and they were born here, and they're trying to act like those folks as well are individuals who are not legal here. So, this is we're talking about what ICE is doing, and this is how it's rolling. They also have their mandatory. We're going to leave you in here for a certain amount of time that they've come up with. And I'm happy to hear that there's other judges and other places that are being like, nah, you can't just make up a time for people to. You can't just make up a time that this is how long they have to stay if you capture them. Let them out, give them some due process, or be in trouble. So I hope that sticks. I hope that moves the needle a little bit on that. And yeah, like you said, shout out to ACLU. Jason Whitmer, who is part of ACLU, that is a contact of ours, the person who sends us information, and also we've had him on the show and had some discussions with him too. It'd be time to bring him back and talk a little bit more about what some of the fights that ACLU is in when it comes to this situation as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a fight, and all the points that you brought up are valid questions. What's happening with our indigenous brothers and sisters, what's happening with those who are actually going through the immigration process. Like the fact that people are being arrested, going to their court hearing, doing what they're supposed to be doing is mind-boggling. But even more mind-boggling is what's happening once they get wrapped up into the system, because more reports are coming out. As far as one, I just recently heard a report of thousands of citizens who have gone missing. So there's people who are just gone in the system. Their family don't know where they are. Also, the human trafficking of it all. Let's just call it what it is. The fact that again, the prison in El Salvador, that some U.S. citizens have been sent to there as well. I believe Cesar Abrego, I believe is his name, the U.S. citizen that was captured by ICE, released, and then captured by ICE again, and then sent to El Salvador. Yeah. And let's not talk about how bad that prison in El Salvador is. I believe CCOT is the name of it.
Yeah.
What is the end game of all of this?
That's a good question.
You mentioned the deportation of it all. Again, we know that a lot of these people actually aren't being deported. They're in Texas. They're in Florida. They're in Nebraska.
Being detained. Right. It's a good question. We know that we're in the season of follow the money, and so some of the end game is going to be answered by us doing that part, which makes me think about how we found out they receive funds for people that go into the Cornhusker Clink. They're making money for the state by that, and so it was interesting that there was a headline last week or a couple of weeks ago actually last week, that some of the detainees in Minneapolis have been quietly shipped over to Nebraska. So we can talk about that part. We also, in following the money, need to figure out why this is happening according to this situation when it comes to jobs as well. The job market is being very, very shaken up because of what's been going on with a lot of workers and people who are not just being detained, but because of fear of being detained, moving out of those areas of the job market as well. And it's really interesting because the job numbers, I believe, are coming out either today or tomorrow. Trump is already talking about he's winning on these different fronts when it comes to all these things, but we're being reminded about how capitalism works in the first place. As a matter of fact, there's a book out right now that they're talking about on Marketplace called Escape from Capitalism and Intervention that Clara Mattel wrote. And in there's a reminder about how capitalism works when it comes to jobs. They don't want 100% job placement on things. It's really interesting how the situation is aligned. That there's a part of capitalism that needs there to be joblessness in order for people to be pretty much, forced into saying, I'll take whatever low paying job I can take. They're making people stay in low paying jobs. If they don't have any clout in the job market and clout in the job, this is the reason why unions and stuff are so important. If you don't have any pull in the job market, and then they're just like, take what you can get. And we need a bunch of low paid workers. So we need you to be able to not ask for better conditions, but stay low paid. That's a whole part of it. And so they never want, there's even an equation in there. It's like 7 to 9% of joblessness is how you keep that equation going for people to be have some scarcity when it comes to jobs and decide they want to stay in or take these low paying jobs and not have any benefits, not have any power in their job market. So that's interesting when you pair that along with how many, this immigration sweep that's happening and what's going on with those jobs, those low paying jobs. Who's going to get into those low paying jobs next? If the job market is being squeezed from the top and there's 300 million, black women that are getting fired, or what I'm saying, like if it's getting squeezed from the top, and then you're eliminating everybody who is doing who is doing getting low paid jobs, and trying to deport them or whatever. Who's going in those markets? What are they trying to create here with the job market, with everything that's going on? Those are the questions that come to my mind about it.
I'll tell you what they're trying to create. They ain't trying to create low-paying jobs. They trying to create no-paying jobs, a.k.a. slavery. And they're making the money on the back end. They ain't no paying you. They going to make their money from housing you. Point in case, this Flatwater article about this Nebraska company helping ICE with their surveillance. That's where the investment is going. If you follow the money, you see the writing on the wall. Should we talk about Palantir? All the data centers? The investment is in your face. And again, shout out to Flatwater Free Press for this write-up. Natalia Alamdari always doing the good work. Headline reads, this Nebraska company is supplying ICE with surveillance tech. Surveillance tech that we already know is being used on protesters. And possibly, voters who vote in ways that Trump doesn't want. Which we're going to have to talk about voting here pretty soon. Nebraska's primaries are in May. Yeah, we're going to have to get into that. But that's also connected. But anyway, I digress. According to the article, ICE leaders are using 2 surveillance tools owned by a Nebraska company, including one allowing ICE to track cell phone locations without a warrant. This is being used during high-profile crackdowns in cities like Minneapolis. The company PinLink, which is a digital intelligence company founded in Lincoln, has long been a player in law enforcement tech. Its data analytics tool is used by Nebraska law enforcement agencies like Douglas County Sheriff's Office and OPD. The state entities like the Nebraska State Patrol and DMV Fraud Investigation Unit. Its early technology started with creating new software for the Lincoln Police Department, an agency it still works with to help develop new programs. Over the decades, the company has racked up federal contracts and acquired other tech companies. And now this fall, ICE signed a $2.3 million contract to use 2 tools now owned by PinLink called Tangles and Weblock. Tangles is a open source intelligence software that scrapes information from across the internet for law enforcement. Weblock is a cell phone database that allows users to track the movements of specific phones without needing a warrant. So they're watching you. Forbes and 404 Media first reported on ICE use of PinLink surveillance tools. And it doesn't stop there because we know that Israel is also investing in American companies and surveillance. So they're also tied up in all of this as well. But again, big shout out to Natalia Alamdari and Flatwater for this write-up. Again, $2.3 million to a Nebraska company to help ICE with surveillance. You see follow the money. I mean, that's, and here pretty soon I do also get into the warehouse situation. We kind of mentioned it, but I'm hearing the price that they're paying for these warehouses versus what they're actually worth is something to pay attention to. Very interesting. Very interesting. But what say you, Paul?
Well, I've been saying it for a while. There, we pay attention to this, especially from alternative news, about if you're concerned about that being surveilled, your privacy, and so on and so forth, all the things that can be done. Unplugging from all of the social medias and so on and so forth. We talk about it here all the time too. We depend on the social medias to get our message out, and we keep on putting that out there. I do get feedback all the time from you because I ask this all the time. Where else would we go in order to have some conversation, in order to have this discussion and to organize that's beyond the Broligarchs toys, which is Meta, Twitter, so on and so forth. So beyond those things, what do we do? One step is to kind of get off of those things, but other steps is to get off of the grid on all kinds of levels. I mean, how do
Man,
you stop the surveillance? There's face recognition surveillance out there now too. So a lot of people who go out and march and protest wear certain masks and paint and do things to their face in order to not get picked up. It's endless. It's kind of endless. That they've been testing these things out and been going on it for a while. So what do you do? Well, it seems overwhelming, but we keep trying to pay attention to all the things so that we can figure out how to have some, be some kind of safe. But pretty much we're going to have to, this has to be attacked from a higher level in order to bring back some kind of anonymity, some kind of ability to have some privacy and so on and so forth. Because as as individuals, we're subject to a lot. You can't necessarily just not have a phone.
man,
But I am seeing a whole movement on the analog religion situation. I'm seeing a whole lot of movement on dumb phones. I'm seeing a whole lot of movement on burners. I just read an article. Some politicians are telling their offices and colleagues to carry burner phones so that they are not getting tracked there either. It's all there. So there's definitely a lot to talk about all those things when it comes to these things. But yeah, like I said, on a higher level, if they pull funds, if they eliminate some of these organizations, if they there's been people who are talking about eliminating not just ICE but Homeland Security in general, which when you think about it, popped up during our time. Homeland Security it came after 9/11. And it wasn't even a thing before 9/11. There was no thing called Homeland Security before that.
listen,
It came from the scare of 9/11, and then it just built and built and built from there. And I think about in the time frame since 9/11, think about shows that are on TV like 24, and there's all these other. There's even fictionalized versions of what's been going on with Homeland Security and everything since then. And to think that it's evolved into this situation with ICE is a trip, and it seems like a false flag. Seems like false flag, bro. This is not. We don't have a bunch of stuff happening here with how many people feel. It's hard to go into because there's so many people that feel like there is an immigration problem, even amongst our own folks sometimes. I don't even see how those numbers are looked at correctly. Go ahead.
okay, I'm down a rabbit hole.
Yes.
Because you mentioned 9/11 and yeah, as far as with the Epstein files, there's some things coming out about 9/11 as far as some of the people connected to that being a part of the Epstein situation, which is connected to Trump, which is connected to ICE, which also is connected to the Heritage Foundation, which also wrote the platform for Bush, who was president during the time of 9/11. I'm just saying.
But I wish I had the graphic where I can have the numbers and the figures floating by your head, and we put the red string up. It's connected to this and connected to that and connected to that. You remember back in the day when somebody was talking like that and they sounded crazy?
I'm just, and it's funny you say that because as you're talking, I'm thinking of my OGs, Cell Therapy,
Hey.
Goody Mob. Who's that peeking in my window? Talking about my screen window, my window. Who's that peeking in my window? No more fishing for my fish. Like, listen to that song.
It's real.
And the stuff that's happening now is just like, how did these brothers know? Like, I gotta ask Cujo. I gotta ask Gippy. Like, how did y'all know?
Because they said it ain't new. It's been happening, bro. You might have been a little young to really after 9/11 to really get what they did. They just went ahead and put everybody. They just allowed everybody to start looking at everything. I remember there was a Prince song back in the day too. Say, well, you can surveil my home. You can tap my phone. You ain't gonna see nothing but somebody making love inside. But go and look if you want to. But yeah, because that was it. You was absolutely being looked at with everything. This ain't nothing new. What's new is I told you when I came to Omaha in 2010. One of the first jobs I had to do with data. And I realized in 2010, everybody knows everything. They know you ain't hiding nothing from nobody. And now it's 10 times worse than it was then because of everything that's been going on, because we've been dependent on social media and stuff like that for this period of time. But
Man,
All the information has always been there, down to your DNA, bro. In the last 15 years, people we've been voluntarily sending our DNA to companies to get logged in. Look, they know everything down to your cell structure, bro. The
man.
the thing that's happening now is they're letting certain entities use that information and for their own purposes, which is this whole here's some money, ICE, here's some technology, ICE, go find people.
Man, actually, side note. Speaking of the surveillance, I had to go into my Facebook and change my settings the other day. I came across this video that put me on. I didn't even know, so I gotta let y'all know. Apparently, Facebook has a feature that allows it to go into your camera roll in your phone, look through the cameras or pictures that you haven't uploaded. They're just in your camera roll, but Facebook can go into your camera roll, look at locations, times, movement, people you're around,
Mm-hmm.
suggest people for you to follow, suggest products for you to buy. You
Mm-hmm.
might want to turn that off.
Oh,
Just saying.
it's too late. We cooked. It's too late.
And the
You can
question
turn it off
is,
and cook, bro. Like your phone in the first place. The reason why they can grab that data is because your phone is recording that data. If you snap a picture, it's the time, it's the place, it's what filters you use on the camera. It's all the information is all the metadata is right there on the photo. So all they got to do is be able to look at the photo, and they got all your data, where you were.
and that technology comes from Penlink and Lincoln. Again, the technology that allows you to, allows police to track you on your phone without a warrant.
I wonder if any of those guys from that company is connected to PayPal Mafia.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I wonder if anybody from Penley is from the PayPal Mafia.
Man, you gotta guess. You gotta guess. But again, where is all of this going? I think Brother Anthony Rogers Wright is going in the right direction, at least where I'm going. Talking about, again, responding to your mention about low wage jobs. He says this: beyond that, Paul, late stage capitalism doesn't need low wage labor as much anymore due to AI. There is going to be 3 billion surplus population with nothing to do and whose labor no longer holds any value for capitalists. What do you think big tech CEOs are the biggest, or excuse me, why do you think big tech CEOs are the biggest proponents of universal basic income? And also, why do you think CEOs like Bill Gates are the largest landlords? Because there might be a grift going on right now before our very eyes with these warehouses. There's reports of former Russian nationals and entrepreneurs, billionaires buying up warehouses for, say, $2, $5, $6 million, and then now ICE is coming back and buying them for $100 million. Again, per what Mama God is saying, 2 warehouses purchased for 2 to 3 times more. This is illegal and subject to congressional oversight. Potential charges in future if resistance is brave enough. Again, this is being reported by Bloomberg. Despite protests in small towns and cities across the U.S., again, the cost for acquiring just two warehouses alone, $172 million. A third will be in El Paso, Texas, again, housing about 8,500 beds. On January 16th alone, the administration paid $102 million for a site near Hagerstown, Maryland, according to local court filings. A week later, another $70 million in cash for, again, $70 million in cash for a warehouse in Arizona. And again, these warehouses aren't worth this much. So who's making what? On the profit margin or on the back end, we don't know. You definitely have to follow the money. But my question is, again, if they're deporting everybody, why do you need more warehouses?
Very good question. They're gonna have us on. It's gonna be like Cloud Atlas future. They're gonna have us on the conveyor belts.
This is what it's looking like to me. At this point, I don't really have any. We can talk about where to go from here.
Well, that's what we always do around 8:44, and time. What do we do about it? Is always ends up being the question to all of it. And so, yeah, we can open it up to that. It is Friday, today, which means that that we do like to give a little bit of credence to some love supreme on all of that,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of where we like to start. Being the art soldiers that we try to be, and
Yeah.
to figure out like what it is that we need to do in order to do that. Well, first and foremost, there's some resist in whatever the resist means, and we like to talk a lot about what resist means, what to do on that subject. So, so that's definitely part of it. Is not to this, we deal in spirit. So don't give up. Don't give
Yeah.
up. Don't feel like it's hopeless. What's going on? It can always be fought. Whatever's being put upon us is being put upon us by other individuals, men alive today that that are part of what's been going on here for a while. But so have we been here,
Yeah. Yeah, some of them, they put their pants on just like us. Some of them diapers too.
man. So that's number one, and then and go through it. I'm gonna jump in the chat real quick. I see Miss Erica Felt is saying when they pay more than standard listings, it raises property taxes and the cost of other warehouses.
Mm.
Talk about this warehouse situation. Mama God said 2 warehouses purchased for 3 times more. This is illegal and subject to congressional oversight. Potential charges in future. Resistance is brave enough. Man. Also, Wanda Lewis in the chat says one thing that I don't like about all these cameras around the city. Big Brother will always be watching. You could get in trouble for your mere existence, such as urinating in public, even if you're cautious of your surroundings. Everyone has done this. It's better than having an accident on yourself, unless you wearing a diaper like homeboy. Otherwise, install porta potties every few blocks. I was just thinking about some of the things that this to me that's like '90s surveillance type of situations. We got televisions in our house now
Man.
that can see you, that are paying attention to you. Uh, it's not we just ain't outside. They watching you urinate in your own bathroom now. It's going
Pretty
down.
much. Pretty much. LED lights, all that.
Lynn Mills says, Wanda Lewis, that was exactly questioned among the Judicial Committee members. The
Mm.
question of if you go out and have some drinks, they were talking about living in a small town. You were walking home and decide to sit on a park bench and end up falling asleep. What happens then? So, yeah, do you get arrested? $100 fine. These are some interesting
Mm.
things. Earlier in the chat, Lynn Mills says, I was able to go to the Judicial Committee hearing for LB 925 with Tamara Dwyer. It was my
Mm.
first time at the Capitol when the legislature was in session. I was able to be a part of conversations with a Together lobbyist, speaking to lawmakers on the Judicial Committee. All the lived stories shared were heartbreaking. People from nonprofits shared their stories of why this bill is inhumane.
Man.
So, yeah, appreciate you being a part of that, going down and witnessing that in person. That's what's up.
Man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Which kind of reminds me in this last 13 minutes where I wanted to end off.
Hmm.
The word program.
Mm.
Talk about the word program and what can we do, in the face of all this. First of all, First Sky Omaha is our program. And a part of this program, the mission of this program is to find a way to self-sustainably inform the people of what's going on. This is the People's News Network by all means. This is coming up in mind because I was watching an interview that the son of Chairman Fred Hampton did a couple days ago. And he talked about the Black Panther Party programs. And again, we often, as we always say towards the end of the show at this point, try to figure out what we can do. And I often say, look back to find out what we can do in the present to charge forward. We don't have to recreate the wheel. And what the Black Panther Party did, Black Panther Party for self-defense, should I say, what they did was so successful that it was co-opted by the federal government in the tune of the SNAP program and the free breakfast program. And again, I'm putting emphasis on the word program because in this interview, Brother Fred Hampton said that this was not charity. He made it very clear that this is not charity when we're talking about a program. This isn't a nonprofit. We're not talking about setting up nonprofits, handouts, and no offense to those who are actually doing the work is needed. But the people need a program that they themselves can invest in, a program that they themselves can build up and find things to do amongst ourselves. And again, that there was something about how he phrased it, and saying that this is not charity, this is a program. And he talked about individuals coming in, trying to sneak a couple extra apples and bread, and they're like, yo, you can't steal from this because this is yours, this is a program, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't just charity, this is yours. So whether it works or not is up to you, you know what I mean? And thinking about it in that aspect, how can we have self-sustainable things where people aren't just getting charity, where people are, this is self-sustainable, we have means of raising funds, we have means of making sure people are taken care of, and people have things to do. And when I think of what the chat chamber was just talking about with Tamara Dwyer going to the hearing, I think of programs like the Documenters program, which actually pays people to go in to document what's going on in some of these meetings. And if we can develop more of these kinds of, and just have the mentality of again, developing programs that, again, we can all get busy in, because I think the first thing is communication rules the nation, and we have to communicate and be honest and aware of what time it is and how to move accordingly. And again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can definitely learn from the pages of history. So,
yes, matter of fact, some of the pages of history I will put in the chat. Here's the Black Panther Party community survival programs. As you can see, 1 through 16 is listed. There's a lot of programs that they had here. Some that are standing out to me is the free ambulance program. We know how much an ambulance costs to take you wherever you're going. And the fact that they knew that our people didn't really have access to that. That was kind of rough on them. And so I think it's really interesting to see that they put that together. Like, it's a need. Check it out. I'm putting the link in the chat right now for you to check this out. It's a whole layout of their plans and some of the things that they did back then. But community facilities is another one. Child Development Center is another one that's not just watching your kids, but they help them develop.
right.
Also a community pantry. They had the free food program there. Also disabled person services, transportation, and attendant. When you think about the system that we have now in place in order to transport folks that are disabled, it's a high dollar situation that happens. You got to either be part of a program, or you're paying a lot of money just to be transported around. And of course, poor people don't really have that. So when you have they saw a need, and they put a program together for those needs. And that's kind of what stands out for me. Also, something that's standing out for me too, as we have about 8 minutes left in the show, is spending more time on those parts.
Mm-hmm.
Because the First Sky Omaha has been a progression of a show. It started off news dissemination only in the vein of a radio morning show, where we talk about what's going on culture wise, but we also talk about what's in the news, and we deliver that information along with weather and traffic. That's how we started. When we jumped to the digital realm, when we decided to start going live, when the radio program got shut down over at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, and we went live with our audience, we started in that vein as well, and realized that it was morphing into something else. And what it morphed into was us trying to figure out what was relevant news to our listeners, to the people that our growing audience, especially if it's concerning our neighborhoods on the east side. And so we started really kind of concentrating on bringing that news out. And also that's when the Friends of First Sky Omaha page started up. So we were involving you, chat chimers, on what news you thought was important. Bring that to our attention. Let's talk about it. It morphed even more so with when we talked about that news. It was apparent that we needed to have an outlet for how we felt about that news, and how we can all get on the same page with that news, which is the realm that we're in now. And I'm seeing that we're on the verge of a different realm, where most of the show, instead of most of the show being what's the news, how do we feel about it, it's turning into here's what's going on. We already know how we feel about it. Here's all the solutions that we have now. What can we pull together as far as solutions are concerned to make some moves right here together? And I feel like that's going to be the part of it. Instead of it being 3/4 of the show gone, and we're here at 8:45 talking about getting to the question, what can we do about it? We need to get to the question earlier in the show and talk about what we need to do about it. Figure out how we can connect. talk about resources under that banner, because I think that that's just the natural progression next of what needs to happen with this show, because I'm feeling that pain of just like, we always get to it's always like a little bit, it's like 8:20, 8:30, and I'm just like, man, I got to fight the feeling of hopelessness about, I got to fight a little bit, like, what can even be done about all this stuff? Now we didn't talk an hour and a half about all this stuff, like what, overwhelmed. Let's pull it back down and start attacking one thing at a time again. What lane can we put this on? What lane fits this? What can we do here? And then reiterate that should be the evergreen conversation going on more and more, instead of coming up with one solution, forgetting about it. Continue with the solutions talk. Continue on those veins as we go forward. So I'm going to try to commit to doing some of that, and I hope that you guys will come with us on that, because we don't want to get caught up in we are doing a lot of fighting on that. We're doing a lot of, here's what it is, how do we feel about it? Let's who do we feel is responsible for these things? Let's try to hold them accountable without calling them names. Let's so on and so forth. Let's get to the solutions, because really, when I think about it, I don't even care who I got beef with if there's something happening. You said something earlier. We always talk about Sheriff Hansen and all the ridiculousness that comes out of that office sometimes. And then you said, "Oh, well, I agree with Sheriff Hansen on this." And it reminded me about like who we are. It reminded me, oh, that's right. Yeah, we might not like somebody, but they might still say something that works, and we agree with, because we don't care about we don't care about the person and their character. What we're caring about is the project. What we're caring about is the subject. What we're caring about is the thing. It's just like you go to work. You got to go to work with people you don't like, but you ain't there to hang out. You're there to do the job. So whoever got some solutions, whoever on the right track, great. If they got some resources, great. Let's make it happen on that tip. So that, to me, the progression of where we go next is that we need to get on that tip. We need to pull get whoever's on the same page there, and whoever's on the same page for the particular thing we're talking about is who I'm talking about. I don't even care if it's somebody that we wouldn't hang out with personally. That's irrelevant at this point. We got to get to some solutions. Somebody got something, great. Whoever it is, everybody got something. Everybody got something. Kind of reminds me of that argument about whether or not you separate the art from the artist.
How so?
Well, because everybody has an idea where they stand on that. I saw somebody the other day talking about was it Deepak? Somebody who's on one of these healers were on the Epstein list. I'm not sure if it's Deepak, but it might be. No, it wasn't Eckhart Tolle. I think it was Deepak Chopra. One of them is on the Epstein list. Don't even know how, but because they've been mentioned in the Epstein list, everything they're throwing all their books away and everything's out the window. You can learn something from people who you don't get along with or don't agree with on everything that they do. You learn something all the time. So where do you stand on that issue? Do you separate the art from the artist? I said Bill Cosby earlier was the host of the Playboy Jazz Festival that I used to go to as a kid, and I almost found myself going, well, I said Bill Cosby. They gonna be somebody time up talking about, yeah, Bill Cosby problematic. Bill Cosby also created the Cosby Show. We don't need to. Where do you stand on the separating the art from the artist? Where do you stand on separating the project from the project manager? Where do you stand on separating the bourgeois who also has a really great program for the neighborhood? Where do you stand on eliminating your personality politics to getting together to make some kind of change? Because I feel like that's one of the biggest issues we have as a people. I don't mess with him. Who all gonna be there? What are they doing what are they doing for the cause while they're there? It don't matter who it is. Can we get off of that part? So, to me, it's like this is a debate. I go back and forth. I feel like for me, there's a debate all the time on this. There's some artists that I'm just like, well, I just can't mess with anymore because they then went too far past this argument for me. But there's other ones that I'm like problematic, but the art was right, or the project was right, or they did good this time on this thing. Don't know where you stand on that. All I know is that we better start concentrating on the thing more than the connections. That's just me. That's kind of where I'm going with it.
No, I hear you. Because if a Republican is standing, in a position making some sense and doing they're supposed to be doing, then you got Dinos who are not really living up to what they're saying they're doing, or
what do you do with that info? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing with that info? We just talked about it with taxes the other day. We get our taxes done now, man, and it was like that. It was like they changed the law to you can't, if you're paying somebody more than $600, things got to be reported. Trump came in here and moved it back to 2,000. That benefits us. Still don't like him, but what is the thing though? Not the person. Why do people get so much clout? I'm just saying. I'm asking like where you stand on that. I'm asking like where you stand on it. It's been a constant debate for me on that because it's real easy to be turned off by somebody who you don't personally vibe with, especially when you're an artist and you deal in vibes.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, though, how do you learn how to work with folks that you don't vibe with? Because sometimes you have to.
I've said often on the show that a broken clock is right twice a day. So you might not always agree, but there's, you can't deny truth and common sense just because you feel a certain way.
Right. Kimber Snipes on the chat. Good morning. I haven't talked to you this morning yet. She says, I think character does matter. For example, Aaron Hansen will say all the right things because he's running for office, but I definitely feel what you're saying.
I think what you do matters as well.
Yeah, man. And what you do, what you say for sure. I don't think that character, I'm figuring out that character might not be the end all be all on the thing though. Sometimes you got to think about self-preservation. People doing things for themselves sometimes benefits you somehow. It's the thing more for me than is the disposition of a person. If the disposition of a person gonna bring them inside the thing or not, or out. If their disposition is that they're just trying to enslave you, then if that's what they're trying to do, then there you go. How do you live with people like that? Well, some people think you shouldn't be. You should be battling them on even on a physical level. So I don't know, but you're living in a situation where they're there. What do you do? This is the question that we have to ask ourselves all the time when it comes to law enforcement. Any situation in your life you ever had to call the police? Any situation in your life you ever had to call the sheriff? Probably. Are they doing some good when it comes to keeping some kind of order? Yes. So how do you live in that situation? How do you do that? I'm thinking about Kimber Snipes, who used to put things together where you would be able to meet your law enforcement people and bring them into the fold here. I'm thinking about Precious McKesson, who just let us know that somebody is running for sheriff, and that's something that's happening as well. So shout out to that. Shout out to Mike Martinez, who's running for sheriff. We talked about 6 to dismiss, get somebody out of the seat. If he's going to get out of the seat, who's going to get in it? Mark Martinez may get in it. They're excited about this. I'm not excited about the sheriff's department, period, let alone who's running for it, who's in law enforcement. I got a whole thing about it. But then again, is it a necessary thing? Yes. How do you work with that? How do you work with it? How do you separate the art from the artist? These are all questions that I think are important to us in our community, especially because I see so much. One of our crowning jewels for First Sky Omaha, one of the things we're proudest about is getting the BAA and the Empowerment Network to have a conversation. 2 entities that deal with things totally differently, totally different ideologies, didn't get along at all for years, couldn't get into conversation, and then finally got into some kind of conversation. Because why? Because we're trying to push this idea that there's a bunch of different lanes. Matter of fact, there's 7 lanes that make change, and you have to have all the lanes together in order to make that freeway to push through to make some kind of change. The same way the 75 then push through the north side. So if you can stay in your lane and be in lane next to another person staying in their lane, some progress can get made. Can you do that without having to be best friends with the people? This is why we're so against coming on here calling folks names and being disrespectful and all this mess, because it don't matter what you guys are doing. If you can't respect the person that's in their own lane, you will never drive together in the same direction.
How you gonna get anything done? You're just gonna be arguing
anything
about
done.
respect.
Respect people as people first. So anyway, Wanda Lewis says you better have a good disposition because some people might not like your demeanor. So true. Helps if you do. But it also, if you just are not going to get along, you still got to get something done. So Kimber says, what I've been doing, LBVS, I'm talking about an individual person. It seems as though you're talking about systems. I'm talking about individual people. I'm talking about people that are, especially people that are in positions of any kind of power. How do you work with them? If you don't agree with their ideology, you don't agree with everything. We got a whole lot of who all gonna be there in our culture. It don't matter what's the purpose of the thing that you're going to is my question. It don't matter who's gonna be there.
And I guess that kind of speaks to, my ultimate ending point for this episode as far as the programs and, the saying that you always post that we're not outnumbered, we're out organized, and, communicating, talking. The reason why we talk about, is not to generate a sense of hopelessness, is to inform you of what's going on. So you can act accordingly to what time it is. And it is not the time for petty differences and infighting.
This is so true.
It's not that time.
And the what you gonna do part is what we got to get to. That part. Shout out Christy Nora. Appreciate you. You the one putting your money where your mouth is out here running for office. That's what's up. Kimber Snipes is running for office in office. That's what's up. She says I deal with people who blatantly lie with ease, but still making an effort to practice shared decision making. Come on with it.
You got to, and that's what leadership is.
I spoke 10 minutes. Kimber Snipes summed it up in one sentence. This is what I'm talking about right here. Deal with people who blatantly lie with ease, but still making an effort to practice shared decision making. We have
leadership is.
That's what leadership is, straight up. Shout out Kimber Snipe, leader, big time. We're going to get out of here. We already 6 minutes past when we're supposed to get out of here. We appreciate you guys allowing us to go past the agreement and sticking around with us as we dive into some of these things. Sometimes some of these revelations and things hit a little later on in the show, and that's just what's happening. But I hope that you're getting something out of it in the way that we are. I hope that you listen to the whole show. If you miss any parts of it, please go back and check it out on YouTube. Listen to it in its entirety. Especially you people asking for 3 hours. Y'all sure better be listening to the 2 hours. Don't be jumping around listening to 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, talking about we need to stay on for 3 hours. RG. Black Dynamite. No, I'm just playing with y'all. But yeah, for sure. Go back and check it out. Our monthly meetup with the mayor happened today too. So if you missed that part, if you came in late, we did talk to the mayor earlier. Go back to YouTube, check the show out. Get your questions over there to them as well. Any questions we didn't get to, get over there. Gotta make it happen. Gotta make it happen. What were they at there? Are they talking about it? Where are they at?
Yeah, RG says, man, come on with hour 3. Talk to him, Black Dynamite. Nah. Did you listen to the whole 2 hours in the first place in 8 minutes? Yeah. All right, cool. Take care of yourselves. It's still pretty bad outside as far as roads and stuff is concerned. Make sure that everybody's pipes didn't bust and everybody who lost power as well. Somebody said that earlier. People that lost power, check on your loved ones about the people who lost power out here. Apparently there's some folks that are in some hotels. Thanks to Anthony Rogers Wright informing us about what happened there. Thanks to Mayor Ewing, who told us about what his task force is doing with them folks. But yeah, this is happening all over. As far as your heat is concerned, it's really cold and it'll jump on you real fast. So please take care of each other on that tip in a big way. But you got some words for the people before we get out of here? Not much, man. Just the usual big thank you to all the chat chimers, ghost listeners, even the monitoring spirits. We appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you. Especially those of you who joined the conversation. Of course, a big thank you to Mayor John Ewing for taking time out of his busy schedule. The brother has been just about everywhere. Like, brother is busy. So again, big thanks to him. for spending as much time as he was able to with us this morning, and looking forward to doing it again. And yeah, looking forward to doing it again with all of you. So catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul?
In the morning.
Hey, so go ahead, yeah, with that, Paul B. Take it away.
Mama Guy says, have a safe weekend. Please do. A new name I haven't seen yet. 5-star BDM brand development in the chat saying highly organized minority will outperform a disorganized majority every day.
Straight up.
Well said. Appreciate you joining us, all the new people as well. Appreciate that very much. Tisa Harding in the chat saying the key is their practicing behaviors, not just talking.
That point.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Also, Tisa Harding, you have a podcast, right, with another McGaw, from what I understand. Let us know about let us know what you got going on with the podcast there. We're always down to big up some folks that are doing this kind of work. The news gang is what we call ourselves. So yeah, let us know what you got going on for sure. Yeah, appreciate you guys coming through. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here while we're running late. I can keep going. The chat's going off. Definitely check the chat out. You can continue the conversation over on Friends of First Sky Omaha, the Facebook group page, or if you go back and listen to this show, you can always add to the conversation here as well. We appreciate that very much. The McGaw. Okay, that's who that is. All right, cool.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's Cuz right there. hey, thanks for tuning in.
All in the fam. Shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you, and shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Really appreciate all your comments. I'm sorry that we get to all the comments and questions for the mayor's visit this time around, but again, please contact the mayor's office with your questions. They're very open to speak to you on that. Shout out to Mayor Ewing, the dopest mayor of all time, that's coming through and hanging with us on the monthly meetup for the mayor. Really appreciate Mayor Ewing coming through. It's a privilege for us to be able to do that. Monday, as a matter of fact, got another privilege happening. It is time for Senator Cipher again with Senator Terrell McKinney and Senator Ashley Spivey. We will speak to some more of our lawmakers and elected officials here on some of these subjects, so get your questions ready for them as well. And please take care of yourselves this weekend. Be safe. And like I said, check on your loved ones because it's still pretty ugly outside. But take care of yourselves. And yeah, we'll see you Monday. Peace. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green. Crossroad with the key.
By any